Are they multiple species? What was their size? And how many are usually on a craft?
They're typically the multiple species. People are familiar with the Greys, the Nordics. People are talking about reptilians and insectoids. It's not that they're reptilian or insectoid, it's that they resemble to the recipient of reptile or insect type humanoid, because they have a head and 4 limbs and torso.
So large, small?
Human size, human scale.
4 different species of alien. The audio is really hard to hear. I'm not convinced the man is actually saying that, but again, I don't know. It is the typical alien species maybe you've heard of, the Greys, the Nordics, lizards, insectoids. I think that's more so conspiracy theory stuff, but who knows? One thing we do know is that there are UAPs. It's a fact. That's why it's classified. UFOs, UAPs, they exist. Is it military technology? Could it be amateur aerial technology that people don't identify and then turns into myth? Or could it be, as this guy has pointed out, that the U.S. actually has 10 vehicles from aliens in its possession? Who knows? The first thing I want to do is I want to play this video for you that's been going viral. We've got it on X. Eric Davis, this guy is apparently a physicist who worked with the U.S. government on jet propulsion. And people are claiming that he said that there are Greys, Nordics, insectoids, and reptilians, but I'm not entirely convinced. It's hard to hear what he's saying. Let me play the video.
Are they multiple species? What was their size? And how many are usually on a craft?
They're typically the multiple species. People are familiar with the Greys, the Nordics. People are talking about reptilians and insectoids. It's not that they're reptilian or insectoid, it's that they resemble to the recipient of reptile or insect type.
Okay, so he's saying it's typically the species people know about. The Greys, the Nordics, the reptilians, the insectoids. It's not that they are insects or reptilian, it's that they resemble that.
Humanoid, because they have a head and 4 limbs and torso.
So large, small?
Human size, human scale.
And how many are a crew?
Well, the Greys I'm familiar with from investigating the crash at Corona, which is misnamed the crash at Roswell. It's not the crash at Roswell, it's the crash at Corona in Mexico. Those were Greys, those were 4 foot tall.
He said that the crash wasn't really in Roswell, New Mexico. That's what they say it is. And that was the Greys.
The Nordics are typically human size, probably 5-6 feet tall. And same with the people who...
I love the Nordics because they're like 6 feet tall and blonde. And it's like, could you imagine that, Sweden and Norway were working on experimental technology and they had like a drone craft? Imagine it's like oval shaped and it's got 4, jets on it. So it looks like it's levitating, but it's actually just jets pointed down. It crashes. A Swedish guy comes out of it and someone's like, he's an alien who looks like he's Swedish. Sorry, I had to do it.
This label, reptilian and insectoid, they're roughly that height too. I haven't heard anything about anything 7 or 8 feet, 9 feet tall.
He says he hasn't heard about anything 7 or 8 feet tall. We also have this article from the Daily Mail. Joe Rogan left in awe. I love how they got to put Joe Rogan in the title. As scientist reveals exact number of crashed UFOs the U.S. has. Let me just play this clip. It's better.
How many of these crashed crafts do you estimate there are that human beings have recovered?
More than 10.
More than 10?
More than 10.
How many of them are in possession of people in the United States?
I meant more than 10 in possession of the United States.
What about worldwide?
Worldwide?
Do we have any data on that?
We have data, but it's classified. There's no way to really talk about it.
10.
So there's more, though. You could safely say it's not just the ones in the United States.
Not just the ones in the United States.
More than 10.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
We don't need to hear whatever that is. More than 10 vehicles in the possession of the United States. A physicist saying there are 4 species they know about. I want to believe. I want to, but I can't. I got to be honest. I am more, I'll say this, and I know the atheists are going to get mad. I am not a Christian, but I am more inclined to believe in the resurrection of Jesus Christ than I am to believe in reptilians, insectoids, and all that stuff. And I'll tell you why. There's historical accounts claiming a resurrection happened. There are no real good explanations as to why it would be a Nordic or a gray or an insectoid. Those are just things we tend to hear. And let me put it this way. I'm not trying to be disparaging to anybody, but one has a historical record from a person who existed. I'm not trying to compare the two. I'm trying to say, you're not going to come to me and convince me that aliens like these exist. Maybe I don't even need to get into it. I want to believe it's true, but it's tough, isn't it? Check it out. So this guy who's claiming this, what is he? He's the remote viewing guy. Oh, great. So what's his credibility? Check this out. The Daily Mail has this story from March. CIA psychic laughed out of the room after seeing a Russian sub. Then satellites confirmed the truth. Wait a minute. What do you mean? Apparently, this dude was doing remote viewing experiments. He was a remote viewer with the CIA. Joe McGonigal. And he claimed that he could see a Soviet hangar, undercover top secret sub being built. And they laughed at him. They said it's stupid psycho mumbo jumbo. Psychic mumbo jumbo. Then, several years later, check it out. They say McGonigal said he was able to remote view a large warehouse 100 yards from the White Sea in 1979 and describe a never-before-seen type of submarine with slanted missile tubes and a unique double-hull structure. He reported his vision to the U.S. Navy, but his claims were dismissed as fantasy. But then came a shock. Satellite images and other intelligence sourcing later confirmed the Soviet was indeed building a new class of submarine called Typhoon, which was kept hidden until launch in September of 1980. Okay. I'm going to say this. I don't think he's psychic. Here's an easy one. Maybe he just knew they were doing it. He had a source come forward. The source said, I'm telling you they're doing this. If you reveal this information, they will demand you give up the source. A Soviet spy hunt me down. And so he said, how can I convey this to the U.S. so they know it's coming in a way that won't get my source killed? I saw it in a vision. Yeah, get out of here, you nut. Wait a minute. He was right. I think it's much more likely he just had insider information. Let's entertain that. Should this man have had insider information, now when he's coming out and saying that there are 10 crashed alien vehicles, okay, maybe. I wish, man. I wish. These are interesting stories, and I will pursue these claims, but I'm not going to, I'm not just going to blindly believe it. Take it with a grain of salt. I wish we had evidence that there was life out there, that there was something bigger, that we had purpose. But our purpose is here. Our purpose is in our lives, in our mission, in our jobs. It'd be nice if there was a galactic federation and we knew that there was still a way to go to there was still a frontier beyond us. Perhaps it's just space. We don't need aliens to exist for us to go and pursue the stars. People want it to. Take a look at this. It's from Defense Scoop. New UAP legislation in the works as Congress prepares for more hearings. Lawmakers are drafting new legislative proposals and preparing to host hearings as part of their ongoing campaign to enhance the U.S. government's investigations into reports of unidentified anomalous phenomena. What kind of title is that? UAP. I've never been a big fan. They say, quote, this is not a one-time thing. It's clear this is not a one-time data dump. This is a systemic change to the process in the way that we are transparent with the American people. And with that, we're working on legislation that will put it into practice. They say lawmakers are drafting legislative proposals, preparing to host 2 hearings as part of their ongoing campaign to enhance the U.S. government's investigation into reports of UAP that are increasingly threatening national security, according to 3 House Republicans. You know what I think? I think they know what it is. And I think they're not saying anything because either it's their weapon, it's a government weapon. Now imagine if you know what, I'm going to say this. AI is going to destroy the world. There you go. The ultimate super weapon. The U.S. can't build AI because of IP law. China is violating IP law. They don't care. Do you think the U.S. is going to sit back and let China win? Nope. I'm willing to bet that the U.S. has been developing weapons at black sites for a long time they will never disclose to you for the national security purposes. This is basically the plot to Star Trek Into the Dark. The Federation's like, we're not a military force. We don't build weapons like this. And so this dude builds a secret black ops underground network to build war machines. So what happens is the armed forces see these vehicles, don't know what they are. It's beyond classified. You don't know. Above top secret. The reason why they entertain the alien narrative and the reason why they're saying the obvious, the Greys, the Nordics, reptilians, the insects, is because they want you chasing that fantasy. They want you to pursue that story because they don't want you to look over here. They're dangling the keys here while slapping you left over here. Because the real story is either our enemies or we are building powerful weapons the public doesn't understand or know about. I guess we'll see. Maybe we won't. I don't know. I'll leave it there. Smash that like button. Share the show with everyone you know. Stay tuned. More to come. Timcast IRL tonight. We'll hang out with you then. Thanks for watching.